Hey there, I'm Brant Zip at Crocker Farm Auction, and we have our big October 2019 auction coming up on the 26th of this month. And we're just, as I said in some other videos, just showing off some lots like we usually do, giving you a sense of what things look like in person and just kind of highlighting some things we find interesting or noteworthy. So anyway, I have this jar here that was made by the African-American potter of Greenville County, South Carolina, Rich Williams. And we were actually privileged to be able to offer another Rich Williams jar in our last auction. These are extremely rare. So I think the fact that that one just sold ferreted this one out, as is sometimes the case. But I mean, we've seen so few of these over the years. And you know, years ago, I began my study of Thomas Comerall, the African-American potter of the Lower East Side of Manhattan, who worked from the 1790s up until around 1820. And from researching him for so long, I've gained like a newfound appreciation for how remarkable it was for African-Americans in the 19th century to own and operate their own stoneware shops. Now, part of this is that when you think about it, there weren't really that many stoneware potters to begin with. Stoneware is a lot harder to make than earthenware. So even if we just want to talk about utilitarian pottery makers of America, it was much easier for you to, say, be a farmer and supplement your income by finding clay you could fire to a relatively low temperature using relatively rudimentary techniques. And you could glaze that with lead-based glazes, and you could make what we today usually refer to as redware. And that was pretty common, like it wasn't that hard to do. But to be able to get stoneware up to the temperature you need to get it to find the correct sort of clay you need in order to make stoneware was difficult, and you needed to work with people who knew how to do it. They needed to teach it to you, and so you had to kind of be brought into their inner circle. And then if you were African American and you were in a situation where you were up against other certain social challenges, even after the abolition of slavery, certainly significant challenges to owning and operating your own shop. It's remarkable, even around the time that Rich Williams was working, which was around the late 19th, early 20th century. And so this is like a cool piece of American history. Rich Williams, I think something that sort of speaks to what I was just talking about is the fact that you have another South Carolina potter that a lot of work's been done on recently, named Thomas Chandler, who also made alkaline glazed stoneware. And he was born well before Rich Williams, who was born around the early 19th century. And we know a lot about his life, like who his parents were, you know, where he trained, all these things. And that's not always the case, but just as a counterpoint to Rich Williams, you have a guy who was working into the century in which I was born, and we don't know who his father was. We don't know a lot about him. But anyway, it was exciting to be emailed this jar as a prospective consignment. Just to show it off real quickly, it's a nice, smaller sized storage vessel stamped with one of Williams's maker's marks. So there's some that just say Williams, but this is the more desirable mark, which actually says Rich Williams. And the other one we had was also stamped around the base like this, so that's what he liked to do. But anyway, we're just really happy to be able to sell this jar in our upcoming October 26, 2019 auction. Thanks for watching.